right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the presentation. Yeah, I'm just trying to 30 seconds is just not enough time. We're going to have to put a minute up there to change it on Facebook and everybody else. So, well, hello, everybody. Hello. Today is Friday. And welcome. Hopefully, you're having a good Friday wherever you are in this beautiful, beautiful world, and you're having a good day. Today's Friday. You know what? Any day it's a Friday is a good day, right? So we're very, very happy, and I'm happy that you are here, and I appreciate you taking this Friday and spending it with us. So TikTok. Well, thank you, Mallory. I appreciate that. So just a second, TikTok. I'll be with you guys in just a second. There's a couple things we have to get. We have to do first. We have to take care of the business aspects of things. So I want you to go to. I want you to go to a website. It's KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. KGRADB.com. That's KGRADB radio. So we're on KGRADB radio. And they have some amazing shows there. So this show airs on that platform. Now, it's very inexpensive, but they have really cool shows. But make sure you got to subscribe, but put Bishop as your promo code because you're going to get 30% off your subscription. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, hey, look, if you get 30% off your subscription, you definitely run it and take it, Again, it's KGRADB.com. Also, if you want to go to my website, real simple, bishopjameslong.com. That's it. Well, thank you very much. bishopjameslong.com. And I do have a class that's online, so you can click on the class. You can also click on the store link. So we have some items there for you. If you'd like to pick up some items, that's fine. And then, of course, the church's website. It's usocc.org. That's it, usocc.org. I want to remind everybody that we have a church retreat coming up. It's on March 14th. Well, this month, 14th to the 17th. We have some folks who I'm going to be ordaining people to the priesthood, and our abbot's going to be receiving people, having the perpetual vows to our Benedictine community. It's going to be a really lot of fun. We'll be giving lectures, and I'll be there, of course, and of course, our community will be there. So it's at Todd Hall Retreat Center. So if you'd like to go, contact Todd Hall Retreat Center in Columbia, Illinois, and say, hey, I want to book a room. And so we'll be there from March 14th through the 17th. All right. So that we're really looking forward to that. That's pretty exciting. Really exciting. Well, hello there, and hello, Judy, and hello to all of you. I appreciate you certainly can, Jackie. You can go to bishopjameslong.com. And thank you, Jackie. It's very nice. bishopjameslong.com. And scroll down to where it says donate. And you'll see right there. I don't know. It's terrible. I need to do better with it as far as the website. I'm not a webmaster, but I do the best I can. But yeah, just scroll down to donate here. There you go. That's what you got to do. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. Here, let me give you a heads up for everybody. Trolls, I won't pay attention to you at all. You don't get under my skin. I just actually ignore trolls. Trolls. See, you have to understand, trolls are narcissistic because they think that what they say to you actually gets under your skin. I ignore them because I really don't care what trolls have to say. So you're not going to get under my skin. I'm an adult, and so you're wasting your time. I know that a lot of people start screaming and yelling and hollering and cussing and all that other stuff. I'm quite comfortable with who I am, and if you don't like it, I really don't care. So, sorry, not sorry. Anyway, go away. If you're going to troll, you're not welcome here. You'll be ignored. But on TikTok, we are going to put subscriber chat only for the first hour. For the first hour, the second hour at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll open it up to everybody. Okay. So I'm giving you heads up at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to open it up to every single person on TikTok. But for the first hour, hello there, Mike from Ireland. But for the first hour, we're going to put subscriber chat only. And the reason is we do that is because that is a way to get rid of the trolls. And it's sad that we have to do that. But there are some people that are so narcissistic that they think that they have to control you by being so hateful. And I think, boy, what a terrible way to live a life, knowing that the only attention you get is when you're nasty to people. That to me doesn't make sense. That's completely illogical to me. So TikTok, that's what we have to do. So anyway, so that's what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a really cool, the only sage I ever used in my house was in the dressing served with the turkey at Thanksgiving. There you go. There you go. You know, Bobby, I've never consumed sage. Never. Although some people love it. Some people love it. So yeah, I've known Bobby Zoller for a long time. We go way back, don't we, Bobby? Way back. Today we're going to talk about an interesting discussion because I think it's necessary for a variety of reasons. I talked about this last year, and people ask me all the time about, well, how do I cleanse my home, and what can I do? Because it's important that people feel like they're empowered, and you are empowered, especially when it comes to spirituality. There are some people think that they have to, and for those of you who are offering gifts to the ministry on TikTok, thank you very much. I apologize profusely for me not thanking you individually. It's only because I have two different computers running at the same time. And if I'm looking at this camera, I'm not looking here. So I apologize. I truly do. Thank you for that. Thank you. But a lot of people feel helpless almost to a point where they feel like they have nothing, they can't fight back. And they have to count on clergy. And many times, sadly, there are many clergy like, nope, not interested. I don't want any part of it. I don't want to deal with demons. I don't want to deal with all that stuff. And thank you. And that's sad to me. I think that's very sad. So people feel frustrated. So one of the reasons why I want to do this show tonight is to let you know that you are empowered. That I don't want you to ever feel like you're a victim, that you have no hope, that you have no way to fight back, because you do. You absolutely 1,000,000% you do. Catherine says, I went to a church retreat when 16 and loved it when the priest was good at telling ghost stories. Oh, that's fun. That's very cool. That's cool. But then, and thank you, Captain Crunch just became a 13-month subscriber. Thank you, Captain Crunch. For those of you who are watching this on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and KGREDB, and of course Spreaker, when I say thank you, it's because people are offering gifts and on TikTok, so that way you know what I'm doing. I'm going to be hanging in here like always. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, wow, thank you. Happy Friday. I appreciate that. All right, let's get into our conversation, okay, because we have a lot to cover, and I want to talk about sage, and I want to talk about smudging. Hopefully this conversation will be educational and maybe a little eye-opening for some people. I know there are some people that think that saging is evil, it's the work of the devil, and all this other stuff. And I understand why people have that perspective. But let me just say this. My grandmother, she was Cherokee. My grandfather was also Cherokee. And he belonged to the Red Face Men, which was an organization that they did a lot of great things to helping the local community. And I remember growing up, thank you. I remember growing up, my grandparents were always very involved in the local community. And my grandmother belonged to the Pocahontas Women's Club. And every year, every Christmas, they would have like these stockings in the 70s or so. And they had like little, candy stuffed in these little stocking things. And they would pass out hundreds of them to kids in their neighborhood. And that left an indelible, that really left a mark on my memory, my soul. It really touched my heart because they were so passionate about giving back. So my grandma had no problem with smudging. None. As a matter of fact, several times I even was at her house and she did it. And she really believed that this was it wasn't evil. It wasn't conjuring demons. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this, because as clergy, as a Christian, as an exorcist, but also as a person who does have Native American culture and back and blood in my veins, I don't run away from that. I don't see it as a negative. I don't see it as demonic at all. And so hopefully this will be educational. So today we're going to delve into a fascinating history of a sage. And we're going to talk about that. It's a sacred herb that's been used for centuries in cultures for rituals and ceremonials. Ceremonies and even spiritual practices. And specifically, we're going to focus on how sage began to be used for blessing homes and even expelling evil forces. So sage has, and we're also going to talk about some really great health benefits that come with saging. So I want you to just do me a favor. Yeah, it does. Do me a favor and just open your mind, be at least receptive to a different perspective, and perhaps maybe you might change your ideas and thoughts about sage and smudging. Sage is a well-known herb. It has been used for centuries for its culinary and medicinal properties. Even Bobby in there, who's running for Metro Council in Louisville, Kentucky, had talked about even consuming it. Herb. I can't help but snicker when I say, our abbot is saying the bishop said herb. I can't help but snicker when I hear him say that. Herb. Yeah. In Kentucky, we say herb. It's a herb. Miss Wilma says herb. But here's the thing. In ancient cultures, sage was highly valued, and it actually held spiritual significance. And so here are some origins of sage in some cultures that you may not know about. In ancient Egypt, sage was actually used by the ancient Egyptians for its medicinal benefits as part of various religious rituals. It was believed to have purifying properties. It was used in the embalming process as well. Now, we're going to talk about the purifying properties and how it actually can be beneficial. Forget about the demonic issues and that for a moment. You'll be quite surprised, I think. Even in ancient Greece, the ancient Greeks considered sage to be a sacred herb and associated with wisdom and longevity. So bring it on. Bring it on. I need to have a sage bath. Longevity, come on. I want to see my 70s. They believed that burning sage could purify the air and ward off evil spirits. What's interesting is the ancient Greeks were absolutely 100% correct in their beliefs of purifying the air and warding off evil spirits. As I talked about with Native American cultures, as my grandma and my grandfather, they were both Cherokee. Sage has been used for centuries, thank you, by various Native American tribes in ceremonial practices. It was also, it's often burned in smudging ceremonies to cleanse and purify a space, as well as to promote healing and spiritual protection. That is what I see sage as, not some evil, horrible thing that it's a devil's tool. And people have actually said this when they found out that I was doing this presentation. Folks, I got messages from people saying, why are you talking about sage? Sage is evil. Sage is Wiccan. Sage is pagan. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm like, really? Seriously? I mean, on a Friday night, you have nothing else to do but to tell clergy that they should be ashamed? Come on, give me a break. Anyway, in ancient Rome, the Romans valued sage for its medical properties as well and believed that it could enhance memory and cognitive function. It was also used in religious ceremonies and as a flavoring in food and also drink. I don't know. But sage, I can get maybe food. I can get the food part, but drink? I don't know about. Oh yeah, I was told that I had about, I think, 14 messages from people telling me that I was. Thank you. I'm going to burn in the fiery pits of hell because I'm talking about sage. I'm serious. I'm no joke. Isn't that ridiculous? So I'm going to really talk. I'm going to talk about it big time. I mean, I'm really gonna, man. You know what I should have done. It's too late now, but I should have gotten some sage and burned it right here. I mean, just, overall, sage has been revered on many ancient cultures for its diverse uses and associations with wisdom, purification, and healing. Its popularity and significance have endured throughout the ages, making it a staple herb in many traditions and practices. So let's talk about how is this used as a tool for blessing homes. And again, for those of you on TikTok, I'll open up chat for everybody at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And for the subscribers, if you have any questions about this, feel free to jump in and I'll entertain those questions because you subscribe to the channel and that's my way of communicating with you. So I appreciate you guys. Using sage to bless homes, it's very common. It's a common practice. It involves the burning of dried sage bundles to cleanse the space of negative energy. It promotes positive energy. So here are some things that you can do to follow, to use sage as a tool to bless your homes. I'll do that, Joe, I'll do that maybe at another presentation. Joe is asking details about Indian rituals with tobacco and tobacco they use. And they use, especially with the pipe, and the peace pipe, a lot of people think that it was always a particular herb that would make you laugh and giddy and hungry. So you have to be very careful with some words you say on social media because you might get banned. But not always. Many times, it was, but not all the time. So first of all, you can obtain a dried sage bundle. And you can purchase dried sage bundles from health food stores, metaphysical shops, online retailers. White sage, by the way, in particular, is commonly used for smudging purposes. Here's why I think that a lot of Christians, especially Christians, will attack sage. Because Walmart has it too. Because you can buy these things in metaphysical shops. And so they immediately think, oh my gosh, you're going to buy it in a metaphysical shop. So it's pagan, it's Wiccan. You can buy a lighter in a metaphysical shop. It doesn't mean make the lighter evil. So some steps you need to do. Let's say you want to cleanse your home. And I can go through this a little bit more in depth, but this is just an overview. And then I'll go more in depth with it. Prepare the space. So let's say there's just a lot of negative energy that you're, thank you there for following. There's a lot of negative energy that you want to clear your space. You want to just kind of get rid of this negative. You feel overwhelmed. You feel oppressed. You feel that heaviness in your home. And you just want to kind of get rid of this. And this is what you do. So before you begin, open windows. This is important. And the reason is the theory behind that is, and even doors, it allows negative energy to escape. That is the theory. Now, of course, if it's energy, then quite honestly, it can simply go through the walls. But that's the theory is you open the windows, open everything. And I believe it's just letting that fresh air coming in and just cycling it out. You may also want to set a positive intention for the cleansing ritual, like inviting peace, harmony into the space. One thing that I tell people to do, and I love it, is Gregorian chant. Playing Gregorian chant while you're smudging, folks, I really think it's one of the best things that you can do because especially when you have this negative energy in your home. So let me just, what people sometimes don't know what Gregorian chant is. So bear with me and I'll play something. Hold on one second. I wasn't planning. Someone's asking me, what is Gregorian chant? Okay, let's see what this is. That's Gregorian chant. And there's a lot of, you can go online and just simply, go on YouTube or whatever, if you, Apple or Spotify, whatever, and just type in Gregorian chant. So if I smudge, and sometimes I do in my own home, I will play Gregorian chant. So then you light the sage bundle. So you obviously a lighter or match, ignite one end of the sage and allow the flame to burn for a moment, and then gently blow it out so that the sage is smoldering and producing smoke. And the way you cleanse, the way I cleanse my home, because I can't, I'm not allowed to use charcoal. We'll talk about that in a second. I start from the front door, and then I walk clockwise through each room in the house. And I wave the smoldering sage bundle. I allow the smoke to fill the space. And I focus on the corners, the closets, areas where energy may be stagnant. And I always make the sign of the cross, because as a Christian, that's the intent. I am obviously using this sage as a purpose to remove any type of negative energy. And I will tell you guys, I promise you, this works. I'm not getting sponsored by a sage company. I'm just telling you what works for me. And so I go to so I just simply do the clockwise, and I make the sign of the cross in all corners, in all four corners. And as I smudge, there are prayers that you can pray, affirmations that resonate with you. You can ask for blessings, protection, the removal of negative energy. So what I do is I go to each corner in the room, and I say the Our Father, and I say the Hail Mary. And then I do every single corner, all the walls. And then I pray the St. Michael the Archangel prayer. And I do the short form. St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection against the malice and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits who wander the earth seeking the ruin of souls. And then if you want to say a special prayer of intention, say, St. Michael, I ask that you remove any type of negative energy, and you intercede on my behalf and cleanse this space. And then I make the sign of the cross, a big sign of the cross, and then I go to another room. And that is, you can actually, Jane, you can actually go, if you Google St. Michael prayer, the short form. There's a longer form, and then there's a short form, and that is the short form. You know what? Actually, I appreciate you telling me this. You know what? I'm going to make a note of this. Hold on one second. Because what I can do is put this on my website and put prayers up there. That would be a good idea. Like the type of prayers. I thought maybe we had that. Maybe on the church's website. Maybe we don't. Okay, we have... okay, I don't have... Okay, so here's what... I'm going to put it on the USOCC page. Okay, I'm checking really quick here. Bear with me. Prayer to St. Joseph. Okay. I thought I had St. Michael prayer, but maybe I don't. Because if I do, then, yeah, here it is. I do. I thought so. So here's what you need to do. Go to usocc.org and just scroll down. Click on the prayers, prayer link, not the prayer room, but the prayers. And there is all the prayers that you have. There's Our Father. There's even in Latin, there's the Hail Mary. If you want the Apostles' Creed, the Confiteor, there is the prayer to your guardian angel, angel of God, my guardian angel, to whom his love commits me here, even this day or night, be at my side to light and guard, to rule and guide. So anyway, you scroll down and you'll see where it says the St. Michael prayer. So it's there for you. Yeah, usocc.org, and just click on prayers. Okay, so that's what you do for that. And then you make sure you extinguish the sage, the stick. So once you've finished the entire home, then safely extinguish the sage bundle by pressing it into like a fireproof container. Some people have sand. That's fine too. I certainly wouldn't do water because you're going to ruin it. So what I do is I have like little sand, and I just put it out that way, make sure it's completely out, because they will, it can easily stay lit. So sand has always worked with me. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Trish. And thank you, Blue Gray Wolf, for subscribing. Okay, and then, of course, leave the doors open. I say leave the doors open, the windows open for about 30 minutes. That's what I like to do. So, yeah, I was talking about that, Diana, because my grandmother and my grandfather were Native American. And so, yeah, and so I usually leave my doors and windows open for about a half an hour afterwards, for a variety of reasons. Well, I just like the fresh air and, of course, the circulation, and then dispose of the ash. So you can bury the ash from the sage bundle in the earth. But I think it's important to approach the practice of smudging with reverence, with mindfulness, being intentional about the energy you're inviting into your home. Now, obviously, if you have any sensitivities to smoke or respiratory conditions, there's some smokeless alternatives. Yep. So you don't have to burn sage. There's actually a sage spray or even essential oils. So, which, by the way, I have those. I have oils on the store. Right. That's true. Palo Santo, it works. So it has a little less smoke with that. Some of the sage sticks, I mean, they really smoke. They really, really smoke. It's interesting. I've used some sage bundles before, and it wasn't a whole lot of smoke. And then I've used the same sage, but I bought it from a different person, and it really, I mean, it smoked up like a sauna. So it's interesting how they're different, how they burn differently. But that's what I would do. Okay, and the sprays are great. Sprays are fantastic. Now, as I talked about earlier, when I first started the presentation, my grandmother, she was Cherokee. My grandfather was Cherokee, and I talked a lot about saging with my grandma. Sage has been considered a sacred herb for centuries by various cultures around the world. And in many Native American traditions, sage is used for purification rituals. It helps cleanse the mind, the body, the spirit, and the smoke from burning sage is believed to carry our prayers to the heavens and clear out the negative energy. I think that's beautiful. I think that's very beautiful. And yeah, you can't. And here's another thing that's really important. People ask about, why don't you just use incense? Well, there's nothing wrong with using incense, and you can use incense when you're, if you're blessing your home. That's nothing wrong. But there's a lot of, and I've talked about this before. When I go bless people's homes, many people are living in apartment complexes, and they will not allow you to burn charcoal. You can't. And so, matter of fact, you can get kicked out if you do. So now sage, most apartment complexes that I've been to, they've never had a problem with using sage. But charcoal, yeah. And here's what I mean by charcoal. Hold on. So this is a church censer. I was talking to Judy Ann about this just the other day, and this is how it gets so tangled. I am so glad that she bought us a one that has the one chain. Well, anyway, it's terrible, but this is how cluttered it gets, and it gets all messed up, all the chains. But this is the container. Okay, that's what the container looks like here. And you put charcoal in here, and then of course you put this on top. It's a little heavy, and you use it. This is what I use this one, this and other ones at Bobby Mackey's. But yeah, you can tell this is the worst. If you ever buy a censer, don't buy this one. Don't. And that's because all the chains, it gets so tangled up. There is a censer where it just has one chain. That's it. That is all. These three chains, because there's three of them, is the worst. And so you put charcoal inside that, and it burns hot. And a lot of times you're not allowed to. The apartment complexes will not allow you to do it. So that's the issue, and understandably so. Okay, so let's get into Yeah, someone's asking a question. Yeah, and you can use oil. That's fine. You can use oil too if you don't want to use. You don't have to use sage. It's entirely up to you. Or as I said, you can use a sage spray, and sage spray is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with using a sage spray. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, in ancient Rome and in Greek cultures, sage was associated with wisdom. It was believed to have healing properties. Thank you. It was also used as a remedy for various ailments. In medieval Europe, sage was highly valued for its medicinal properties and was believed to have protective qualities. It was often used in herbal medicine as a natural way to ward off evil spirits. Sage has played a significant role in rituals and ceremonies across cultures through history. In purification and cleansing, sage is often used in purification rituals to cleanse spaces and even objects. Thank you, Chad. And even objects and individuals that have the negative energy. This practice is common in indigenous cultures, where burning sage bundles and of course, fanning the smoke is believed to clear away impurities, to promote spiritual balance, and also in spiritual connection. In spiritual practices, burning sage is thought to enhance connection with the divine, or the ancestors, spirits. And the aroma of sage is believed to raise vibrations and create a sacred space for communication and meditation. Now, let me just say this. Meditation is not evil. I don't know where people are getting this. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Missy. Thank you. I don't know where people get the idea that meditation is evil. Please understand that prayer is a form of meditation. Matter of fact, even scripture talks about meditation. So meditation is not evil at all. Now, I'm not a big fan of the smell of sage. People have told me that you can add a few like sprays to it. If you know, thank you, Ray. I'm not 100% sure how you can make the smell a little bit more tolerable. Because the sage does have a pretty strong smell to it. So if you know any tips or secrets, that would be great. I would love to hear it. Okay. Yeah, Trish, it's some of them is really strong. Now, smudging. The act of smudging, it involves burning sage bundles. It allows the smoke to sift through a space. It's a common practice in many cultures. And it's believed to drive away harmful energies, to purify the environment. Now, it does have let's say, just buy the mixed bundles that has sweet grass and cedar in it, and it smells a whole lot better. Okay. I'll have to find it. I'll have to find the sweet grass and cedar in it. That seems to be kind of lavender and sage. See, I purchased some, I think there's some type of cinnamon or something, and boy, that was really, that was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, could spray air freshener in the room afterwards. Sage is seen as a symbol of wisdom, protection, and it's often used in ceremony healings. And sage has been used in healing ceremonies to address physical, emotional, and spiritual imbalances. Now, I talked about the Native American traditions. Many indigenous tribes in North America, the Lakota, Navajo, Cherokee, they use sage in purification rituals to protect against negative energies and evil spirits. And sage smudging is a common practice to cleanse the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's believed to create a shield of positive energy. And I mentioned earlier in the very beginning of the show of ancient Egypt. Sage was actually considered a sacred herb. And it was used in rituals to even to ward off negative energies and offer spiritual protection. In medieval Europe, we talked about that earlier. During the medieval period, sage was believed to have the power to dispel evil spirits. So there we go again. It seems like there's a common denominator there. In Roman and Greek traditions, the Romans and Greeks also valued sage for its protective qualities. And they also believe it ward off evil influences, promoting wisdom, guard against negativity. A lot of shamans will use sage. So in various shamanic traditions around the world, sage is used for protection during spiritual journeys, energy work, healing sessions. I don't believe, let me just say also about the healing work, because I think this is important, uh, especially with Reiki. I you know, I've been in situations, I've been in hospitals before. I'm not a Reiki practitioner, but I've been in hospitals. Obviously, as a chaplain, and thank you. And I saw a nun for the first time, and I knew what Reiki was. And I saw a nun, uh, offering a session to an individual who was in the last stage of life, and the breathing was labored. And the family said, absolutely, we please, if you can kind of calm them down, because there was a lot of stress, and you can see it was labored. And the nun began the Reiki session, and the laboring, the breathing, it was slowing. It slowed it down. It wasn't as aggressive. It wasn't as stressful for the person. And I talked to the nun afterwards. I said, so why do you think, sage or Reiki gets such a bad rap? And she said, well, people just don't simply understand energy work. She said, this is not magic. It's energy. And because, she's a Catholic nun. And she absolutely was 100% all about saging and as a Reiki practitioner. And that was a powerful experience when I saw that, because I always thought, and this was because I was somewhat uneducated in Reiki, because I always taught that wasn't, it's kind of new agey kind of a thing. But when I saw her do it, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. So in modern times, the use of sage, it's transcended ancient traditions, and it gained popularity in a lot of cultures. As I talked about, and you can use it for spiritual cleansing. Sage smudging rituals continue to be popular practice every single day. Wellness practices. Sage has found its way into a wellness practices, so like aromatherapy and holistic healing. Sage essential oils are used in diffusers, massages, baths to promote relaxation, clarity, stress. Now, I don't see holistic medicine or healing as negative at all. And here's what I think that's fascinating to me. There are so many people that are anti-holistic healing, thinking that it's all new age and it's evil and it's Wiccan, it's pagan and all this other stuff. But yet they have no problems popping in pills that are completely unnatural and that they're chemically induced, and in which they destroy your liver and kidneys. I mean, some medicines are extreme on the body. And because they have been approved by the government to offer these type of pills, they think that is far better than holistic healing. I don't understand that. Now, that to me, I don't get. I certainly don't get. Now, I'm not saying that all pills are bad. Certainly, I'm not saying that. I suffer from cluster headaches and chronic migraines, and I do have to take medicine because they are quite terrible. But I also believe that if there's holistic medicine that you can use, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. Sage is also used for meditation and mindfulness. So burning sage before meditation sessions, it's become a common practice for a lot of folks. Energy healing, such as, again, Reiki. Cultural adaptation. So the use of sage has been adopted and adapted even by people of diverse cultural backgrounds. Environmental awareness. So with a growing focus on sustainability and natural remedies, I think sage is appreciated for its eco-friendly properties and non-toxic qualities as well. So I think the history of sage as a tool for blessing homes and expelling evil forces, and the ancient wisdom, the cultural traditions, the spiritual practices, I think we shouldn't just immediately discard it and say, well, it's all evil. I just disagree. Look, we can use sage for evil purposes. I have seen people use sage during satanic rituals. I've seen it. When I went to the Gates of Hell Cemetery, and there was an altar that these people set up and did terrible things to animals, that there were sage sticks everywhere. And I think when people see that, they immediately think, that's evil. That's why it's so bad. Look, I can use I can use this remote control right here for evil purposes if I wanted to. How? Well, you can put it on a Ouija board and say, okay, now, Mr. Spirit, I want you to move this or throw this or whatever it might be. It's all about the intent. If you're using sage for negative reasons, then obviously the intent is evil. But that doesn't make sage itself bad. Sage itself is not bad. It's what you use sage for that determines whether or not the act is bad. And I just simply am troubled by a lot of people just immediately discarding it. Okay, so here's the article that I wanted to pass on to you guys and educate maybe some of you a little bit more in depth as far as how to sage and what's the point. As I talked about earlier, there are different types of sages. And it's been around for obviously many, 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 many years. California white sage. So there's California white sage is one of the most beloved and popular sage types out there. Man, allergies are killing me. It's silvery and sweet. And this sage is often used in ceremonies. So white sage is famed for its cleansing energy and can help sweep out the bad vibes, the space of mind, just kind of get rid of that negative energy. And by the way, this, let me just say who this is from. Brett Larkin, just to give her props for writing this. There's lavender sage. So the belief is you take a deep breath because lavender sage is here to completely soothe and soften the edges of your mind, along with a big cleansing of energy of the sage. Lavender element weaves in gentle joy, rest, and relaxation. And you know what? I've heard that a lot. Even my doctor, my neurologist, asked if I have a lavender spray. And I, well, no, but why? And they said if you spray it on, just slightly on your pillow, then sometimes that will help with migraines or headaches. I tried it, didn't really do much for me because my headaches are from concussions from football. Then there's blue sage. It's also known as grandmother sage. It's often used in rituals thanks to its strong ancient wisdom vibes. And this kind of sage has deep links with the Native American community. It can be used in all kinds of cleansing practices. So blue sage can also ward off bad vibes. It's excellent for energetically cleaning your house. Then there's a black sage. It's also known as mugwort. It's full of fragrance, and it's a thick, dark, a dreamy type of sage. It's intrinsically linked with the mountains. Can be used for removing unwanted energy. It's also great for a smudging tool. There's sweet grass sage. So rich and sweet and filled with fragrance, this combo is often used alongside sage to bring sweetness and wilderness to a space. Let's talk about the health benefits. Burning sage is one of the best ways to tap into the healing benefits of this wise old plant. And the art of burning sage has long been a well-established ritual in various cultures. Now, here's what we do know about sage. When sage is burned, it is said to release negative ions. That helps elevate a space and puts people in a good mood. Positive ions can build up around us and block our electromagnetic fields. And this is a true story. Have you ever gone outside right before a big storm and you just felt that energy, that powerful energy? That's negative ions. And the positive ions you would think is actually good, but no, actually this is actually just the opposite. And that can help for a number of reasons, including arguments. You're trying to reduce the arguments, the stress, anything that brings in bad vibes. If I have a case that is poltergeist, I will encourage the people to burn sage. If they can't, you obviously use the incense. It does actually clears air of bacteria. So scientists have studied the cleansing elements of sage and found that when this herb is burned, listen to this, it can clear a staggering 94% of bacteria out of the air. Folks, that is huge. We like to, spray a bunch of Lysol and all this other stuff, and that's chemically inducing. You're obviously inhaling that into your lungs. It clears 94% of bacteria out of the air. So by burning sage, you're quite literally disinfecting the air. And for those who want to, keep their spaces clean, sage might be something you might want to look into. Also, it is believed to help sleep. Cleansing the air, softening your mood, slicing through stress, especially with lavender sage. No surprise that burning sage can be a beautiful bedtime ritual. And this silent night herb contains compounds that activate receptors in the brain, which can reduce signs of stress and pain. There's a lot of people say it's a brain booster. Sage is also said to be brilliant at encouraging clear cognition and giving your brain a boost. Perhaps that's because it does such a good job at soaking up all that negative fog around you. And pretty powerful. And we talked about the spiritual benefits and removing negative energy. Now, a lot of people claim that burning sage, it calms anxiety and stress. So full of gorgeous grounding properties. And here to tether you back to here and now, burning sage can be a beautiful remedy for clearing stress. Not only is the scent of sage super relaxing for some people, I don't like the normal scent. I gotta have to find a scent that I can tolerate. But the act of burning the sage can help us to direct our energy and to focus and to relax. And of course, smudging. What is it? Well, burning sage is also known as smudging. It's a practice. It's been passed down through the ages that we talked about. It's a deeply spiritual ritual and practice that dates back all the way to prehistoric times. And so how to do it? Now, we talked briefly about this, but I guess we're going to explain a little bit more in detail. Gather all that you need to burn, your sage, such as a sage smudge. And you need to have some type of shell so that when you burn the sage, you don't want the sage falling on the floor. And open your windows, as I mentioned. So you set your intentions. Whatever the intention that you want, whatever your goal is to reduce the anxiety, whatever, light the sage. And they say usually burn it for like 10 to 20 seconds. Let it burn for about 10 to 20 seconds. That way it catches, and then gently blow it out. So blow the flame out. Smudge the area yourself. And once it's done, then obviously make sure I like sand. I like sand. Okay. Now, one of the things that even my grandmother, because I talked to her about that, says, when you did this smudging, was there a particular thought that you did or words? And it was interesting because there was a ceremony. And I saw this online. I thought, oh my gosh, that's exactly what my grandma told me. She said, may your hands be cleansed, that they may create beautiful things. May your feet be cleansed. So while you're cleansing yourself, you cleanse your hands. So may your hands be cleansed, that they may create beautiful things. May your feet be cleansed, that they may take you where you most need to be. May your heart be cleansed, that you may hear its message clearly. May your throat be cleansed, that you might speak rightly when words are needed. May your eyes be cleansed, that you may see the signs and wonders of this world. May this person and this space be washed clean by the smoke of these fragrant plants, and may that smoke carry our prayers spiraling to heaven. Isn't that beautiful? So that's what, that's what I remember her telling me that once, and I thought, man, that is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and there's absolutely great. There's a lot more benefits to smudging than I just kind of gone over. So, for mental health, I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know, smudging or burning sage leaves it. Again, it's some of that smell you got to watch, but it does help in killing bacteria, fungi, and even viruses. And some people that I've spoke to who are practitioners said that burning sage or even consuming it, which is obviously the safe way to consume it, it helps negative energy. It gets rid of microorganisms in the air. It's an insect repellent. And it purifies the surroundings. It also, by the way, it helps allergens like mold, pet dander, dust, and pollution. There's so many things. Man, there's so many things that I think sage is wonderful for. And there's one last article and then we're going to close shop and I'll answer your questions about demons because I know everybody wants to talk about demons. But smudging with sage reduces, reduces over 94% of harmful airborne bacteria in a room. Again, that's unbelievably powerful. Smudging with sage neutralizes the positive ions in the room. We've talked about that. Burning sage increases your clarity, awareness, improves your mood. And the smoke from the smudging medicine has been used to help and aid lung, brain, and skin function. And a lot of people swear that the smoke heightens your state of mind so you can think pure thoughts and feel good physically and spiritually. So if you want to, try it out, see what you think, and kind of go from there. Let's see, bookish girl. What were you saying? And then I'll open up the bookish girl. Did you have a question? We'll go ahead and open up here pretty soon. Bookish girl, I can't bring you on, and I'm sorry, I can't bring you on to the screen. That's because I have two different computers running, and the folks on KGRDB Radio and Facebook and Twitter. You can't. I can't bring you on. I can't bring you on video. Okay, so I'm going to open up our conversation for everybody in TikTok, so you can all chat with me. See, crystals, here's the thing with crystals. A lot of people ask me about this, the crystal situation. I'm not a big fan of using crystals as healing properties. I understand it has energy. I get it. Listen, I have friends from all walks of life. But as a Christian, I don't put my faith in crystals. I acknowledge that crystals have energy, as everything does. Everything has energy. But when I am thinking of healing, God forbid if I am sick and I need healing, I'm going to go to the ultimate source. And the ultimate source is God. That's where I'm going to go. And I know some people swear by other things. And again, that's fine. That's their right. But for me, I'm not going to go. And I love crystals. I mean, well, this is not crystal, but here's selenite. I love this. It's beautiful. I acknowledge that they're beautiful, but I'm not going to put my faith in that as a form of healing. God forbid if I got cancer or something. Okay. I was going to show you something else, but I can't locate. But anyway, that's what I have. I missed it, but can you smoke sage? I don't know if you can. I would imagine, because if you can consume it, I assume you can. So, and call no man father on earth, for no is your father. Okay, well, 724. A lot of people like to bring up that and call no one father on earth. Okay, but do you know why Jesus said that? Do you know why he said that? A lot of people say you should never call, priests are wrong. Catholics are evil. They're calling their clergy father. I mean, if you're gonna, to be honest with you, if you're gonna mention it, again, this is Paranormal Friday, but we can talk about anything you want to. But if you're going to talk about that, then I need to explain so that you can understand, not be so judgmental. Because he said, father and rabbi, and they were talking about Matthew chapter 23, verse 9. And do not call anyone on earth father, for you have one father, he's in heaven. Okay, well, let me make this very clear. Jesus was specific. You can't take it out of context. He was referring to the Pharisees, because the Pharisees, if you read the context, if you read the entire passage, before and after, then you would know that Jesus was addressing the Pharisees, because the Pharisees loved titles, but they never ever did anything to earn them. They just liked to sit and be seen as holy, holier than everybody else. So Jesus was referring to those people. Keep in mind, Jesus certainly called Joseph Abba. And by the way, they also called him Rabbi, and he said, don't do that either. So you can't take it out of context. I don't quite understand why some people choose to do that, but that's okay. BP, I have worked. BP is asking, can smudging anger negative entity? Yes, it can. If you have for example, when I go to, let's say that I go to a house, or I go to an apartment complex where, again, I mentioned earlier, the apartment complex will not allow you to bring in the church censer, because it used charcoal. I will have no problem bringing in sage. I bless the sage, and then, of course, I bless the house. But because that is a blessed item, that is a form of provocation. And you have to be prepared, and you have to understand that when you do that, you might get a response, and the response can be pretty aggressive. So you have to be aware that if this is a true violent case, then you might have to go into what's called the minor rite of exorcism, which obviously a clergy can perform. So you got to be careful about that. Can we chat on the boxes? Why? No. She's a subscriber, Judy Ann. No. We can't mute. She's a subscriber. Yeah. Can we unmute a bookish girl? I don't know how to do it. Yeah, who can? I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to change it. Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on one second, guys. I gotta stop. I don't know how to do it. I don't know. I don't know how to pull it up. Oh, you did it? How did you do that, Bill? How did you unmute them? Because I need to figure out how to do that. Okay, thank you. How did you unmute her? Because I need to know how to do that. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I got to figure that out. Okay. Someone's asking me, how can I be a Catholic clergy and be on TikTok? Well, it's interesting. There's actually, no, that you're fine. You're fine. You're fine, bookish girl. You're fine. You're fine. Well, there's a lot of Catholic clergy that are on TikTok. Matter of fact, I saw just the other day, a Roman Catholic exorcist on TikTok talking about demonology and possession. So I don't see an issue at all. Yeah, that's one question that people ask all the time is, can other people besides Catholics perform exorcism? Yes, absolutely. And Catholics don't own, the Catholics do not own the right. Now, Catholics, we created the right. The Roman Catholic Church is the one who started and actually wrote it in 1614. But there's other clergy who perform exorcisms besides the Roman Catholic Church. So I paid money. Okay, I understand, Bookie. I know. So I know it was an accident, bookish girl. It was an accident. See, this is why I don't. So I tell you what I'm going to do, bookish girl. Let me follow you. There we go. And then we can chat if we want to chat a little bit. Okay. Oh, spamming. Yeah, don't spam. So anyway. So yeah, there's other clergy besides the Roman Catholic Church that performs the rite or an exorcism. So that's not. Okay, but bookish girl. Now I did say I cannot bring you on I can't bring you on video. And I can't bring you on video because I have two different computers running at the same time. So if I try to bring you on, these people on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and KGRDB, they won't be able to hear or see you. So I can't do that until after the presentation, probably around 9 o'clock. All right. Can a person go to church if they're still possessed? Well, Tina, that's a good question. Actually, they don't. Matter of fact, they have an aversion. So if you have let's say if you have a demonic attachment and the demon is attacking you and it's oppressing you and it's attacking the intellect and will, they have such an aversion to even going to church. By the way, Annalise McKell, for those of you, no problem. Annalise McKell, otherwise known as Emily Rose, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, she was a very devout Roman Catholic. And when she had her possession, the beginning stages, she had such an aversion to even she was on a pilgrimage, and she had to leave. So people who have certainly possession, they will put up a fight, because a demon certainly doesn't want to go into a place that is sanctified like a church. Let me just, I want to share this story with you because I saw this the other day and I thought, boy, this is really interesting. Yeah, hold on for a second. Hang tight with me for a second and I will get to your questions in just a second. This is by Ray Parker. It's a very, very good article. It says why it's normal to believe in the paranormal. So psychology explains paranormal beliefs despite scant scientific evidence. I disagree with that part. I think there's quite a bit of evidence that the paranormal community in general has captured through the years that, in my personal opinion, is irrefutable. It says the beliefs in the paranormal, like interaction between the living and the dead, are common in the United States. Psychologists link paranormal beliefs to weak reality testing, the ability to tell what's real from what's not. Again, I disagree. Cognitive and motivational biases, distrust in science, sensory perception can explain paranormal. Again, I disagree. See, this is the problem with this article. I don't distrust science. And as a matter of fact, the people that I work with, it's very logical, it's very methodical. We use tools so that we can, in fact, gather the evidence and validate whether or not something is true or not. So to me, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of that at all. That belief that paranormal investigators, we just don't agree with it. No, microphone's fine. Non-scripted paranormal TV shows fuel paranormal belief with dramatic imagery, manufactured credibility. Okay, I can see some part of that. It says it's fun to think about what people believe and why they believe it. This too is part of psychology. This time of year, it's interesting to think about beliefs in the paranormal. So paranormal beliefs are common in the United States. By the way, most Americans, according to this article, 70% believe some interaction is possible between the living and the dead. And that's pretty interesting. According to the Pew Research Center, some 44% agree they've felt the presence of a deceased person. Smaller percentages report getting help from the dead, 20%, and personally communicating with the dead, 14%. And according to some polls, close to half, 46%, say they believe ghosts are real. Interest in and studying of the paranormal goes back to the beginning of psychology in 1800s. However, given the relative, well, thank you very much, Sonari, for that train. I appreciate that. Thank you. However, given the relative lack of scientific support for the existence of the paranormal, today, most psychologists relegate paranormal beliefs to weakness in the reality of testing process. No, I disagree here, and I'll tell you why. Let me share a couple things with you. So they can say this all day long. They can say that there's a lack of reality testing process. No, there's not. We have so much evidence, from video to recording to photography, We have EVPs, which stands for electronic voice phenomenon, that they cannot explain. For example, there was at the Gates of Hell Cemetery, and Judy Ann keeps telling me I talked to Judy Ann, and she's like, she is so excited about me doing that Gates of Hell Cemetery. As soon as the weather starts, stop acting silly here in Kentucky, then believe me, I'm going to be doing that. And I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to it. The Gates of Hell Cemetery is a small abandoned cemetery in Kentucky. A lot of crazy things happen. It's a bad place. It is a really bad place. As a matter of fact, my team was the first paranormal team to ever investigate that location. I know that because it was over 20 years ago. And the paranormal community, no one even knew it existed. It's an old abandoned cemetery. It's hard to find. And I was there, and I know that I was there by myself in that area. No one else was around me. And I asked, is there anyone here? Oh, I will. I'll definitely be careful. Maybe I'll bring you with me, Judy Ann. Thank you, Mystic. Thank you very much. So I was there. I said, is anyone here? And I said, are you angry or something like that? Well, listen to listen to this captured. Is there anyone here?
Are you friendly?
So don't tell me that there's not reality testing process. Yes, there is. Yeah, there is. We also have we have EMF, of course, readings, electromagnetic field readings, and EMF is very important because we do a baseline reading, and so we can find out what the baseline is, and then we'll begin praying or interacting, whatever it might be. Then we can see it spike. Temperatures, temperature gauges all the time. I've done so many temperature gauges. I'll do a base temperature and it might be 70 degrees in there. And then we begin doing investigations, whatever it might be, and it might drop 30 degrees with no air conditioning. So that is reality testing process. Here's another one that I captured. This is an EVP. This is an Eastern Cemetery in Kentucky. Terrible what this guy did. Terrible what he did. The caretaker actually buried people on top of one another. He reburied people. It was crazy what he did. And he also he dug up graves and resold coffins. And he matter of fact, he's in prison. But I was there. And I said, do you know who I am? Because I just wanted to see. I had a digital recorder. I didn't hear anything at all. Nothing. But I know for a fact I was there by myself. There was no one around me. No one around me. And I captured this evidence.
Do you know who I am?
Play that again.
Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?
So to me, it sounds, when I hear it, it sounds Seth, S-E-T-H. Now, I have no idea who Seth is. I have no idea. But I do know for a fact that I heard it when I went back and I had my headsets on and I heard it. Boy, that was like, wow. So I disagree. I disagree with the fact that we don't have evidence. Yeah, we do. Yeah, no, I didn't say Bishop. When you actually hear it, it's because I'm playing it over the the microphone. You may not hear it proper, but it says Seth. It says Seth, and it's pretty powerful. And so again, I have no idea who Seth is, but apparently this thing, whatever it was, said that. So we do know that the evidence has been captured. No question. And so I would disagree with this as far as us not using scientific. But they also say that there might be hallucinations, mimicking supernatural experiences have induced laboratories saying, okay, fine. Yep. Sometimes a high EMF reading does cause sickness or other things, and you may interpret that as demon attack or something of this nature. Sure. But no, not all the time. I just simply disagree with this article. For somebody who has investigated for as long as I have, and even those of you who are seasoned paranormal investigators, I find it offensive when people say, well, yeah, Seth was actually the third child of Adam and Eve. So I find it offensive when people say that we don't capture evidence or it's all just subjective. No, I disagree. Something's there. Now we can argue what that is, but something is there. So thank you very much. Thank you, Hope. Thank you. Here's something. Artificial intelligence is crazy. Let's see. Yeah, and thank you for the almost 84,000 likes there on TikTok. I appreciate that. And on TikTok, I'll be with you guys a little bit afterwards. So I'll stay with you guys a little bit after we close shop at 9 o'clock here. Thank you. But, artificial intelligence is really interesting. Oh, yeah. Oh, I have EVPs. I have a lot of EVPs. Let me play this EVP. Let me play this one. Well, thank you there, Hope, and thank you, Mystic. Let me turn this off so you guys can hear it. So let me see which one this one is. Hold on. Hold on one sec.
The sensation feels like I'm being watched.
Okay, so that's not that one. There was the Seth one. Let me play this one, and then you guys can hear it better.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Let's see, animal.
Are you angry?
Oh, I forgot about that one. So I ask. I ask, are you angry? It's very fast. As soon as I say, are you angry? As soon as at the very end, you'll hear no. Listen.
Are you angry?
Did you hear that? So as soon as you'll have to listen very carefully.
To the point where
okay, wait a minute.
I am literally getting.
I wasn't prepared. I wasn't going to do this, but that's okay.
Are you angry?
Play it again.
Are you angry? Are you angry?
I mean, it's very clear. To me, I can hear that clearly. And you hear no. And so I'm trying to find this. There's, gosh, I have so many. Here's this one is creepy. So we're walking. This was a house, and we're walking. This hardwood floors. Thank you very much. Thank you, Carol. And we're walking on the hardwood floors, and you hear, "Help me!" Listen to this. Did you hear that? That was, I mean, that when I, that was a really, really, really crazy EVP. When I heard that afterwards, that was a very violent case that we worked. That was a really, really case. I'm trying to find this one, but I can't see it. There's a loud bang. Let's see. Here it is.
We are literally standing next to the safety of a car.
There it is. This was at Eastern Cemetery. And this was my buddy Steve-O. I went to the seminary with. And we were there late at night. And we didn't feel comfortable leaving the safety of the car. And because we've been there many, many times before. And we never had a problem. But for that night, something was not right. Something was definitely not right. And so I had the digital recorder out and I said, we are literally by the safety of the car because I don't feel comfortable, basically, but listen to this.
We are literally standing next to the safety of a car. I don't feel that it is safe at this point in time to move away from the car at the moment.
Play it one more time.
We are literally standing next to the safety of a car. I don't feel that it is safe.
And then it plays again, but it's at a distance. Here's the deal with that. I don't know what that was. People say, well, it was an owl. Then we would have heard it. We would have heard it. We heard nothing. It was completely silent, except for the little crickets going off there. We would have heard that, but we heard nothing. We heard nothing. We just knew that something wasn't good. And we both felt like it was really uncomfortable. We both felt like there was something wrong. But yeah, I'm without question. Let me see. This one says, I don't know what this is. Let's see.
Is there anybody here that would like to speak to us?
Yeah, I can't hear that. But anyway, there's a lot of, I have thousands and thousands and thousands of EVPs. I mean, this was.
How long have you been here?
So this one, you'll hear hello. As soon as the investigator talks, you'll see someone will say hello. Listen.
How long have you been
Did you hear
here?
that?
How long have you been here?
So it's a female voice.
How long have you been here? How long have you been here?
So as soon as he says, how long have you been here? It's a hello. Yeah, it's a woman's voice. Yeah.
Let's see sometimes if there's something here that walks
This says
closer.
laugh. Yeah. So this was at a house as well. And the family that living there kept hearing laughter and then growling. And so we were in, I forgot what room it was. And I had the digital recorder and I was doing something, but we actually captured because I thought, okay, laughter. So it would happen like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So, here they are in bed and they just started hearing laughter. Somebody, this wicked laugh. Listen to this.
Let's see sometimes if there's something here that walks closer. Let's see sometimes if there's something here that walks closer.
So yeah, that was really crazy when we captured that because it would wake them up. I mean, it would wake them up, and that's the truth. And it was terrifying for them, which I understand. I understand that. I get that. And so when we captured, when people say that there's no evidence, yeah, there's a lot of evidence out there that clearly says something there. Now, everyone thinks that it's all dead or that's all evil. It's all demons. It's just simply not the truth. That is St. Michael. Yeah, that's St. Michael. So here's this. I kind of teased this one. So I want to share this with you guys. Oh, there's plenty of it. Oh, thank you there, J-Lo. Appreciate that for subscribing. TK Randall, listen to this. Hello. Google's AI offers some strange advice on how to capture Bigfoot. Yeah. So Google's artificial intelligence offers some strange advice on how to capture Bigfoot. Yes, I do believe in Bigfoot. I believe there's something out there. I truly do. And I do because, as I've talked about this so many times, I interviewed a game warden in Alaska on my show at one time, and he's a native Alaskan. And he had, obviously, he's a game warden. And I'll never forget him. I never forget what he said. He said, look, Bishop Long, if I understand people may not believe that a Bigfoot exists, but I've been a game warden now, I think for over 20 years. And I'm a native of Alaskan. I live here. I've lived here all my life. If I don't know the difference between a bear, a moose, and Bigfoot, then I probably should not be a game warden in Alaska. I mean, he's a native Alaskan. I mean, that's what he does. He's constantly there. So this artificial intelligence says this. So far, nobody has been able to prove Bigfoot exists. Well, there's a little bit of proof there, let alone capture one. So how would an artificial intelligence approach this problem? With artificial intelligence slowly but surely becoming an increasingly significant part of our lives, it stands to reason that sooner or later, artificial intelligence will be, thank you very much, thank you, Suzanne, would be consulted in an effort to help solve some of the world's most prominent unsolved mysteries. See, in a recent piece on Bigfoot by the Daily Star, this is exactly what the authors did. So the AI consulted in this particular instance was Google's Bard AI, which was asked to the somewhat tongue-in-cheek question on how one might go to capturing a Sasquatch. Well, the AI's response was bizarre. To begin with, it suggested that prospective Bigfoot hunters employ, quote, elaborate display with flashing lights, strange sounds, and irresistible scents to pique its curiosity and draw it out. And this was followed up with a suggestion that a giant net be used to actually capture the animal because the average Bigfoot is large enough to be caught in a giant net. So Google's Bard AI then decided that it would be a good idea for the creature's kidnappers to dress up in elaborate Bigfoot costumes and attempt to infiltrate its community. So create life-size, realistic Bigfoot suits and costumes to gain trust, it said. I don't know if that's such a great idea because I can definitely see right now somebody dressing up in a great big realistic Bigfoot costume going out in the woods, and then some hunter says, "Oh, there's Bigfoot right there." And then that's all it takes. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, see ya. So it's probably not the best idea to be tracking through the woods in a Bigfoot costume. I just don't know. I don't know. Right. Yeah, that can go wrong real fast. Really fast. That could be a major issue. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy things. There's a lot of crazy. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would trust that. By the way, for those of you who don't know, this is by I think Garen Perinia. A lot of people like haunted house movies. Can I talk with your boss, please? Only good energy. Okay, bookish girl. I do appreciate you subscribing, but you have asked that question a lot. I can't. So I'm going to say it one more time. I can't bring you on. I can't. Not right now. So you have asked that question a lot. That's why Judy Ann did kind of mute you. So please, I've already said after 9 o'clock, perhaps, but let's just chill. Okay. All right. So some stories behind a couple haunted houses that you might really be interested in. Of course, the latter part of the 20th century was rife with paranormal activity. So throughout the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, supposed supernatural incidents occurred in homes across the globe, led to novels being written and filmmakers adapting those ghost stories into hit films. Though all of these stories have since been debunked, there are those who still want to believe that these events really did happen, regardless of which side you stand on. And they make for some spooky tales. So here are some true stories behind 6 of the best haunted house movies. The Amityville Horror House, obviously. Okay. We know it's a 1979 film starring Margot, I think Kidder and James Brolin. It's based on a book that chronicled the real-life paranormal activities on Long Island home. After moving into the house, the Lutz family discovered that a year prior, previous occupant Ronald DeFeo Jr. had unalived 6 members of his family, including his parents in the home. Some disturbances they claimed to have experienced included swarms of flies in the winter, strange odors of perfume throughout the house, and sounds of the front door slamming. The Lutzes moved a month later. Those successive residents of the home have reported nothing at all. And there's obviously, thank you. There are several books that were published on this as well. The house used to stand in the 1979 film, was sold in 2023 for just under $1.5 million. Here's what's interesting about this. I have talked to a lot of people through the years about this particular house, the Amityville. And apparently, George Lutz, who was the father, from my understanding, kind of dabbled in some heavy stuff, dark stuff that he should not have dabbled into. And so there's now I did talk to Lorraine Warren. And so Lorraine absolutely, she swore that the priest that they had, a Roman Catholic priest that they had go to the home, ran out of that house as fast as he could, and he would not come back. Because I've talked to Lorraine about this. And so this Roman Catholic priest scared the living tar out of this priest. And he said, no more. He didn't want any part of it. No, none. Absolutely. Yeah, I was actually friends with Lorraine. The Conjuring. The Conjuring is I've been in the paranormal field for a long time. So, oh, cool. Oh, wow. Luke Allen. Now, The Conjuring. Now, the Conjuring is an interesting story. If you do not know Andrea Perron, then you might want to check out her books, House of Darkness, House of Light. Andrea Perron is she is a host on KGRADB radio, and so you can check her out as well. But she has some amazing 3 books: House of Darkness, House of Light, and I really do encourage you strongly to check them out, because if you really want to know about The Conjuring, she lived there. I mean, she grew up. She grew up in the house. She was there with the whole situation with Ed, Lorraine. She was there. And she'll tell you the story. I mean, if you read the books, she'll tell you exactly what happened, what didn't happen. And I think it's important. I really do believe it's important for people to get the history from the people who was actually there. But The Conjuring is one of the highest grossing supernatural horror movies of all time. James Wan's The Conjuring depicted the true story of the Perron family. Perron is Perron, and her name is Andrea. She allegedly lived in the Perron family in the demon-filled Rhode Island farmhouse. Akin to the Amityville house, real-life paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren visited the home and interviewed the family. And despite bizarre activity, like a seance causing the mom, Carolyn, to become possessed and speak a strange language, the family tolerated the home until 1980. And Andrea, one of the daughters, published the book. And USA told USA Today in 2013, people are free to believe whatever they want to believe, but I know what we experienced. So House of Darkness, House of Light. That is those are 3 books. Now, I will say, I think that having a seance performed in a house that is demonically infested was certainly not a good idea, and it should not have been done. Of course, The Conjuring 2, which we already know about The Conjuring, so we don't need to do that. Here's the one that you might not know about. When the Lights Went Out. The 2012 movie. When the Lights Went Out. Director Pat Holden's 2012 British film about the Maynard family is based on the family's story. See, his aunt, Jean Pritchard, and her family, who lived at 30 East Drive, West Yorkshire, England, in 1966, experienced a poltergeist in their home. It supposedly looked like a monk, a.k.a. was known as the Black Monk. And they named it Fred. But the not-so-friendly ghost smashed eggs, made banging noises, dragged Holden's cousin up the stairs, and he was too young to visit the house, which is one reason he wanted to make the film. Says, I've always had the feeling of never quite being in the zeitgeist, Holden told The Guardian. So here's the deal. People call that the poltergeist. Poltergeist is it's not a ghost. It's not a demon. Poltergeist is negative energy. There's no intellect there. There's no intent. There's no intent behind it. It's just negative energy. And I have had poltergeist cases, and I can bless poltergeist cases. I can bless the home a million times. It does nothing, because it's not demonic. It's not malevolent. So when someone is going through extreme emotional stress, That stress obviously causes activity to occur. So light bulbs will pop, appliances can easily catch fire. So that's poltergeist. When the person who's going through the extreme emotional stress, when you get them help and you reduce that anxiety, then the activity will stop. So you remove them from the home and they're not in the home anymore, then I can't tell you how many times the activity just completely stopped. And there was some residual, but it's very minor. You bring that person right back into the house, the activity explodes all over again. That movie was called, let me find it, When the Lights Went Out. It was a 2012 movie, When the Lights Went Out. Another movie called The Entity. The Entity is actually based on a true story. 1982 movie, The Entity. Barbara Hershey plays Carla Moran, and it's a woman who claimed that the spirits of 3 Asian men repeatedly assaulted her. So the real life events supposedly happened in Culver City, California in 1974. Paranormal investigators Dr. Barry Taff and Carrie Gaynor visited Byler's house, which had been condemned twice. At the house, the doctors witnessed a green mist that formed the body of a man and orbs over Bither's body when photographed. Bither moved out of the house and claimed the entity continued to follow her around. So it's called The Entity, 1982. By the way, orbs, folks, seasoned paranormal investigators will tell you that 9 times out of 10, orbs can be explained easily. Many paranormal investigators don't even acknowledge orbs because it's either light particles, dust, or animals or little insects. Now, there are a couple cases where I've seen where it's like, okay, that's interesting. But those are very rare, very rare. I people ask me all the time, can a demon attach itself to you? And if you watch a paranormal television, here's the problem with that logic, and that's a good question. People say, well, thank you. People say to me all the time, oh, if you watch those movies, demons are going to attack you and you're going to be possessed. Then if that was the case, millions of people would be possessed right now. But that's not the case because millions of people watch paranormal shows. So the idea that every time you watch a paranormal show, you're going to be possessed, no, you're not. No, that is simply not true. It's just simply not. So I think people go to the extreme sometime with this ideology, and people always tell me that. It's just I have not seen the fourth kind. Have you had a paranormal experience? I mean, okay. Well, yeah. Can you become? I can certainly be attacked during an exorcism, and depending on my intellect, depending on my will, if I'm sick, if my body is sick, and I perform an exorcism and I'm not strong physically, mentally, then yeah, that could be a major problem performing an exorcism. That could put me in a very serious predicament, which I would never do. Never. The other movie is called A Haunting in Connecticut. Haunting in Connecticut. I also know her. 2009. The 2009 book. That's what it was. I'm sorry, the film. The film version of the Snedeker's Family Herring haunting was released, but according to Lorraine Warren, the movie is very, very loosely based on the actual investigation. Both the film and the true story involve a family in the 1980s who had a son stricken with cancer. So they moved into a house near the University of Connecticut Hospital, but didn't know that the house was a former mortuary. And while the family resided there, kids levitated, rosary beads pulled apart on their own, and the Warrens invited priests over and held mass, but that wasn't enough. And finally, an exorcist stopped by, and that seemed to calm the place. In 1992, Ray Garton wrote a book about the supernatural horror events titled In a Dark Place, the story of a true haunting. But the book and the events have come under fire as being hoaxes. There's a 2013 sequel, The Haunting in Connecticut, The Haunting in Connecticut 2, Ghost of Georgia. And it's also based on alleged a true story. I think a lot of people will attack people and say what's just ridiculous and it's not true, and then just be nasty sometimes, be really, really nasty. And I think it's a shame because I've met a lot of these people. that have had this experience. And it's upsetting when people attack them, because some of these people are really good people, and just aggressive, just absolutely aggressive, and it's a shame. It's a shame. But if you do want to know more about The Conjuring, well, that's where you need to go. You need to check out House of Darkness, House of Light with Andrea Perron. Okay. I'm trying to see. It's okay. You're holding space for the energy, family 1980, watching the movie and expanding its realm. What could go wrong? If you get any thought, enough room in your head will, yeah. Okay. So no, I have not found that just because, look, I've been in paranormal shows. So the idea that if you're going to watch a paranormal show, that's going to make you possessed. Well, no, it's not. I was in Ghost Adventures with Bobby Mackey's. I did 3 episodes with them, and I was a cast member on Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists show. So I think we kind of get a little bit extreme sometimes about, oh my gosh, and even Jack Osborne's show I did with a show with them. It's kind of like, I've dealt with that yin yang, and I don't, I'm not really too, anyway, I'm not too impressed with it. Have you had any temptations of the Dark Angel? Well, no, because the Dark Angel can't offer me anything that God can offer. God offers me eternal life. Yeah, Jack is a great guy. I did the show. He did. They had me go to, I think it was in Cincinnati, and they were going to Bobby Mackey's, and they asked me to chat with them before they went in. So I think it was the Bobby Mackey's episode. Here is this is by Sean Schumann. Sean Schumann, the 10 scariest movies ever made, allegedly. Yeah, he is a great guy. I really liked him. He's a nice guy. So if you like horror movies, and no, I don't think that if you watch a horror movie, you're going to be possessed. People got to calm down with this. So this is the ranking, according to this article, Movie Web, of the best horror movies of all time. I don't know about this one. Number 10. Yeah, I have heard of Sam McColby. I've not met Sam McColby yet. I'd like to meet him and just chat with him. It. Tim Curry, terrified to entertain in equal measure, the 1990 version. But of course, there's another one in 2017, based on the gargantuan, Stephen King novel. It sees a small town in Maine ravaged by the heinous influence of an interdimensional monster. So it is number 10. They think it's a 2017 version. Hellraiser is number 9. I've never seen Hellraiser. I've never seen it. Oh, well, thank you there, Ying. I appreciate that. I've never seen the movie Hellraiser. It just didn't look good to me. It just looked kind of like, eh. But they say that's number 9. The next one is Us. Now, that is a great movie. So Us is released in 2019. It is a horror film it's really good. I don't want to give too much away. Number 7, according to this website, is REC. Record, I guess. It's found footage films. Gosh, my allergies. It says 2007 Spanish film REC, remade in the United States as Quarantine. Well, Quarantine was a stupid movie. Number 6, Jacob's Ladder. Okay, Jacob's Ladder is number 6. Number 5, Videodrome. I don't even know most of these. Videodrome. What was Videodrome? Cronenberg movies could have made the entire collection. The Fly, Dead Ringer, Scanners, The Brood are all equally disgusting and frightening. The Videodrome easily tops the rest in terms of grossness and weirdness. Okay. Well, how is that? It failed at the box office, but would see critical acclaim for its makeup of special effects, surreal atmosphere, science fiction elements. I don't know. I disagree. Number 4, The Ring. The Ring was not bad. Yeah, I was on Ghost Adventures at the Bobby Mackey's. So The Ring wasn't terrible. Number 3, Possession. Here's the deal with people ask me all the time, do I watch possession movies? Not really. Not a lot of them. No, because most of them are stupid. Just like the Pope's Exorcist movie. I watched the Pope's Exorcist. I walked out. I walked out. Thank you there. I walked out because the ending was so dumb. It was so stupid. I thought, you know what? I'm done. I'm finished. I'm absolutely finished. So because they ruined it. They ruined it. So now Nefarious is fantastic. Who is Zach from Ghost Adventures? Well, he actually owns Ghost Adventures. Number 2 is Audition. Audition, okay. Cited by Eli Roth as an inspiration for his film Hostel. Takashi Miike's Audition is a movie remembered not so fondly for its absolutely horrifying ending. Okay, so Audition. And by the way, Eli Roth is a cool guy. He is a really, really cool guy. And number 1, according to this article, is The Exorcist. 1973 movie. I think they missed the boat. They missed the boat on several of them. I mean, look, whether or not you like the Halloween, the 1978 version of Halloween. I'm sorry, I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, you can if you go to, I don't know where they're streaming the Ghost Adventures, the Bobby Mackey's episodes. The Eli Roth is on the Travel Channel and Max. You can, I'm sure they stream them somewhere. So number 1, The Exorcist. That's okay. Number 2, Audition. Have no idea what that is. Number 3, Possession. 4, The Ring. 5, Videodrome. 6, Jacob's Ladder. 7, REC. 8, Us. 9, Hellraiser. And 10, It. So there we go. There's your top 10. I tell you what movie that I love. I really love this movie. The Others. The Others was, I'm telling you, it was brilliant. Brilliant. If you've not watched The Others, yeah, do yourself a favor and watch it. It is Veronica. I think I did see Veronica, but I can't picture it in my mind. But it sounds familiar. The Others it really is. It truly boy, I tell you, the ending, it just really it throws a monkey wrench in there, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a big twist. Really, really big twist. The Others is, if you have not seen it, I'd encourage you. Yep, Nicole Kidman. Yeah, it was fantastic. Fantastic. Now, I will tell you, there's another movie that's kind of creepy. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. That's a creepy movie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. That's a creepy, that definitely will make you not want to be, work, no. The Nun. I saw The Nun. I wasn't, but if you have not watched that, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, take a look at it. It is really, really interesting. Very, very, very interesting movie. People ask me all the time, but are there particular movies that I like? Let me just pull up here. Still nothing what? So before anybody says, you're not answering any of our questions, I have 2 different computer screens running, and I have Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, KGRDB Radio. I have Spreaker on here, and I have TikTok on here. So I'm not even going to entertain that. Okay. I'm trying to find out any decent movie. Whether you not like The Purge or not, I thought The Purge was really, really interesting. The concept of The Purge was pretty fascinating. Personally, I think it was. Demeter. It was a 2000, the last voyage of the Demeter. Let me tell you something. If you like the old time Dracula movies, I mean the old time, not like where he sparkles, but actually, thank you, Missy. But the old, then you would love the last voyage of the Demeter. I thought that was a really good movie. I personally, I did. I didn't. Get Out. Man, Get Out is a crazy movie. If you have not seen Get Out, Event Horizon. That's also a really fantastic movie. I was in the I was also in several movies, several documentaries with the Booth brothers, and I think you can find them. I don't know where they're streaming, but The Exorcist File, Haunted Boy, and I was in three other ones. The total of three documentaries with the Booth brothers. I can't remember what they were, but The Possessed was one of them that I was in, and there was another one that's with the Booth brothers. So The Exorcist File, called Haunted Boy, and The Possessed by the Booth brothers. So and there was one more, but I can't remember what it was. My brain. If you like Bigfoot movies, you have to check out Exist. Exist is one of the best movies I think out there on Bigfoot. It was really, really a pretty powerful movie. I'm trying to go through these other movies really quick. Tethered was interesting. Tethered was a really interesting. Of course, The Right. The Right is a fantastic movie. I think it's probably one of the best movies out there regarding possession or demonology. I'm going through a list here that I have that I'm like, okay, you guys got to check it out. You know what was really interesting? I watched the Hereditary. I wasn't a big fan of it. Marrowbone. Marrowbone is a really, really interesting movie. If you like movies that have a twist, then Marrowbone is something you should check out. Marrow, Marrow, Bone, Marrowbone. It's a 2018 movie. That when I watched it, I thought, man, and of course, I'm telling you, that was really, really phenomenal, truly phenomenal. I also like The Terror Season 1. So if you have not seen that, The Terror Season 1, because I love historical movies and shows, that was really fantastic. The Terror Season 1, that was really, really great. So you might want to check that out. Of course, The Shining. We know The Shining is obviously. There's another movie that was really cool called Wind Chilled. I don't know if you've seen that. Wind Chill. Windchill. That was a 2007 movie. And that was a good movie. That was a really, really cool. A Krampus, 2015. 30 Days of Night, 2007. The Forest is an interesting movie. The Forest is 2016. That is actually based on the Oikigahara Forest in Japan, and I'll do a presentation on that again. But that's a really it's a powerful movie. But the fourth, Shutter Island, is amazing. Of course, Misery. Let's see, closing up here. The Visit. The Visit 2015 movie. That's crazy too. So anyway, we'll talk more about them tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll be here, by the way, I'm not leaving right now, but from 8 to 8:30, Miss Wilma and I are on here, and we're just joking around, goofing off, having a good time. And then at 8:30, I'll go into your paranormal questions, and we'll just we're just chilling. We're just chilling out, just chilling. Nothing. Saturdays it's an open mic, and there's nothing scheduled. We just have a good time and just talk about whatever's on our mind. Yeah, the Myrtles Plantation is an interesting place too. Yeah, Miss Wilma, yeah, she'll be here tomorrow, so we're excited for Miss Wilma. Yep. So here's the schedule for those of you who don't know. So Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, from 7 to 8. Okay, Miss Producer, I always do a topic, whatever topic it is, and I teach about that topic. And then at 8 o'clock, we have questions. Just interact. Just have a good time. And then Saturdays, we're here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So from 8 to 8:30, Miss Wilma and I are goofing off, having a good time, telling jokes. And then at 8:30, I again answer questions about the paranormal. And then at Sundays, Sundays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do Bible study. So I honestly don't know a whole lot about, I'll be honest with D&D. I just don't know a whole lot about it. I've always heard about Dungeons and Dragons, but I can't, I know people who have played it and who are clergy today. So, well, hello there, Sweden. Hello to everybody. Yeah, so that's a schedule. And I'm also teaching, by the way, I'm teaching Revelation. So many people are confused about Revelation. Well, I'm teaching it. So if you want to know more about it, that's Sundays and Wednesdays. For those of you who are on Spreaker, I'm going to have to unfortunately say goodnight to you guys. Yeah, we close shop here pretty soon, and but I'm going to stay on TikTok a little bit longer, so I'll stay with you guys afterwards. So I'll be here tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully you'll join us. Now, remember, I tell you always that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. You're priceless, and don't let anybody tell you or convince you otherwise. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, KGRADB Radio. God bless. The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. Please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the paranormal course link.